Hi, my name is Teresa McGarry, and welcome to the Financial Fix. This is our success story spotlights, and we have with us today Jennifer Flowers. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
Hi. So, when you and I met, you were working with a different nonprofit who was helping you find some housing, and then you needed some furnishings. And we were able to help with that and get you connected up and work through us to work with
Mhm.
yet another nonprofit, get you some furnishings in there. And then I believe I went through some other processes to get a few other things. So what are some of the other things that we've done that have been helpful for you?
Money talks have been very helpful to me. Money talks have basically, like I said, not as far as supplying me, pointing me in a direction to receive furniture. Money talks has assisted me with my rent in times that I really didn't know where it was going to come from. It was those crunch times. Money Talk has helped me with groceries, my car, vehicle, the program helped me obtain things on my car that needed to be fixed urgently, as well as helping me to keep my vehicle. Money Talks is, like I said, does just so many different things for me. I don't even know where to begin. Like it's just when I think about it, it's just kind of overwhelming. But I'm so blessed to have met Miss Teresa
Well,
and
thank
this
you.
this program. Awesome.
So part of helping you keep your car was not just getting it repaired so that it was reliable transportation, because we don't want you to get stranded anywhere, but also while you were between jobs, we were able to help out with car payments and insurance and things like that that you also needed, because we want to make sure you're driving legally as well as safely.
Definitely.
Yep. And I've been able to help out with rent on times when you've been between jobs,
Absolutely.
and yep, and groceries a few times.
Yeah.
So we've been able to do lots of different things that have helped out with just some of those basic needs. So you didn't have to worry about
And
becoming
it
homeless on Friday when the rent's due, or not being able to get to work because your car is broke down or you don't have gas in it, or them coming and taking your car away because you missed a car payment.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
So that's good. So how's that helped your stress level on being able to focus on moving forward if you don't have to worry about today?
It's it's helped my stress level tremendously because I mean, even before I became to know Ms. Teresa and the Money Networks program, I've always kind of been a stressful type of person anyway, but her becoming into knowing her and her program and everything they do, it has made some of those tearful nights untearful, if that's a good word of putting it. And just not knowing where, like literally in 2 days, I gotta have this money for this or something for this. It's like she is just grabbed her cape and came in and saved me. And again, I mean, Money Talks is just awesome. Money Talks is everything. Everything.
Thank you. I'm glad we've been able to help, and by not having to worry about things like I have no food in the pantry, or how am I going to pay my rent, it enables you to be able to think about and start moving forward and getting out of the situation where you need to have help with those things. So if you're focused on today, how you I don't know how you could focus on trying to move forward. You just got to survive today. So I'm glad we've been able to help with that. Um, so I take it you feel like you're in a better place financially now than you were before, at least more.
Yes, because like I said, it's been times that I have reached out to other means of nonprofits and just like just per se for an example with my energy assistance, because um I am a single mother, and of course because my children are of age and don't still live in the home, a lot of places felt like I did not qualify, or I because I'm a single woman, they feel like, oh well, you just go get your job or a couple of jobs and you can make it, it's all good. But speaking from someone who is, middle age and single and kind of out here dealing with life and trying to, bring myself back up from a bad time. It's really hard to get assistance, even from housing assistance to yet alone assistance where uh, they will help you with your groceries, help you with your rent, help without, okay, well, you don't qualify because you don't have like 3 children living in the home, or you don't get food stamps, or, Medicaid or anything like that. Money Talks is just like they're like a saving grace, if I can say that, because it's like they're not there to judge. They're not there to, oh well, you don't fit this, so what I mean. And that's something that I experienced in my life, since my children were of age and old enough to kind of be out on their own and doing their own thing. I always wonder why come after it seemed like your children, they move on and, you kind of it's just yourself. How come you can't, get any help from anywhere? And with Money Talks, it's not like that. They're there for you. They're not judgmental. They provide coaching, counseling, job assistance, any type of leads that can really help you better yourself without no judgment, no, oh, well, you don't qualify, or because I'm sure there are a lot of ladies out there like myself, even, that like quote unquote try to put you in a particular, box, and you don't fit, you don't qualify. So it's like, okay, well, you know, oh well, see ya. That's really what I
Mm.
have experienced. So many avenues, with Money Talks that I was really shocked when I ran into Money Talks that I haven't heard of it before I heard of it, because people really need to know.
How do you feel like you have improved your self-esteem and your self-confidence? Do you feel more empowered to take things on yourself that maybe you weren't feeling up to tackling before?
I mean, definitely, like, just knowing that you're not, out there alone, when it definitely seems like that, because you're, quote unquote, you live alone. But yes, it gives me a sense of security and empowerment that, okay, it makes me want to strive even harder to even better myself. We all come in a situation sometimes where we just can't, we can't get to work, or something's ailing us, or, something outside of other means of what we plan to do stops us. Money Talks empowers me with definitely just the love and the support that I've been shown to, want to strive even harder to, even if I know, okay, I'm coming short, at least I know I'm applying myself and I'm trying to do it, because, you don't, any type of person just want to sit around and, they're there for you, to help you and aid you and support, but you don't want to just sit around and like, okay, I know they'll do this. You want to, get strength and power and self-esteem enough to be like, hey, I can go accomplish this job. I feel better that my car's running better. I feel a little bit more secure that, I can go a little bit further to get the better job, to get the, it just really empowers me in my daily life to want to do better for myself and strive better for myself.
Awesome. Thank you. When we've done a financial coaching session, what has that been like for you?
We've had a few financial coaching sections, and I like the way they're done. I mean, first things first, we're trying to, the way I've seen you do it, because we've touched on that several times, is you're trying to figure out, we're trying to clear the messy path to get to the better path, and so much to say. So I love our financial sessions, our coaching spirit, because they're very interpersonal. We talk about everything. It always leads to, we kind of run off a little bit, but I think it's awesome how, you tend to coach and how you give your advice and, feedback.
Sometimes I feel more like a life coach than a financial coach, because we're talking.
You really are. And that's the awesomeness of this program. It's like, she's just not just the person that's, kind of head of it. She's is the program. She's just all that in one. You know, it's just not more or less a financial coaching, more or less okay, well, just a good friend, a confidant. You know, you can talk to you about things, personal things, and just either other little, just things that go on in your life. Just like I've never experienced that with any other organization, period. It's always been like the negative. Okay, well, they don't really care to talk to you or know how your day is going or what you're going through. It's more or less okay, you're done with the application, we give you a call. It's kind of almost like one of those, like a job, basically. Okay, we get something, we're gonna give you a call. Call us back in 2 days to still there be nothing. But it is so interpersonal, and I really appreciate with this program. So interpersonal.
Thank you. Well, that's one thing. One thing that I want is for Moneytalk to feel kind of like, well, I say it in a helping individuals and families become financially stable through financial literacy, financial coaching, and ongoing support in a supportive Christian environment. And that's basically our mission. And that's, to me, that supportive Christian environment, treating each other the way that God says we should treat each other, and caring about people as an individual. And many times I have heard when folks have talked about working with a different organization, and you've talked about it, but not necessarily use this term, saying they didn't feel like they have been seen or heard, and they're just they're just a to-do on their, okay,
exactly.
Check off this client, talk to this one, gave the application to this one, and this one, and the whole rest of the situation just doesn't matter, even though it's so important
and you
in
can
a long-term solution. So you have brought up several things that make Moneytalk unique compared to working with other nonprofits. And yes, I have heard several times, I don't fit in anybody's box, which to me was a big surprise. And maybe it's just because my philosophy and my belief in the way other people should be treated is apparently not the way other nonprofits work, which was a surprise for me. So thank you for teaching me that. I appreciate that. So in my perspective, as long as you're willing to learn and you want to work toward becoming financially stable, whatever that means for you, then you fit in the box. If you're just trying to get a handout, get free stuff, then that's about the only folks that I'm going to say don't fit in the box.
Exactly.
But there are lots of other wonderful organizations that you've already touched on who are perfectly happy to just give a handout.
Exactly.
And see you next time. They're fine if you are a long-term client, that you're back month after month after month after month after month, and that's not what I'm trying to do. And I'm not saying that I don't want to see you month after month after month, or that I don't want to see you long-term. Please do not take it that way. That is not it at all. I want to help provide a path forward, and everything we do is with the intention of being a hand up, not a hand out. And so as long as we're supporting you moving forward, and we're encouraging you and moving forward in whatever it is that looks like for you, that's what it is that I want to do. I've had some folks ask me that were considering coaching, and one of their things was, so what's your process? And I honestly kind of tilted my head, thought about it, and I looked at them like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, well, we have our intake assessment, and then we teach this, and then we talk about this, and then we talk about this. And it was very cookie cutter. And it's like, well, I do an intake kind of assessment, basically get to know them, figure out the situation. And while it's good to know how you got in the situation, it's more important to figure out what we need to do to get out of it, which is not necessarily where I want you to go. It's where you want you to go. And a lot of times there's a lot of similarity in there. I guess I would say my approach is, we have an initial assessment. I want to make sure that you're somebody that wants to get out of the current situation and kind of figure out what's going on and what you need and where you want to go. And yeah, we do some teaching you how to budget or reconcile a bank account or talking about credit reports and insurance and stuff like that. But it's kind of like as you need it, but it's not a cookie cutter approach at all. And by any means, I guess that's what I was going to say. One thing that Money Talk has been working towards for some time now, and I think we are extremely close. I am super excited and a little overwhelmed and a lot scared, but still excited. I know this is where God has us headed, and I know He will put the right people in place. I just have to trust and be prepared. But it's still a little like overwhelmingly exciting to think about. So when we get our own space, of some of the different things that we've talked about, what kinds of services are you most looking forward to? What kinds of things are going to be most helpful for you?
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I know one thing would definitely be most helpful is I can think of it, I think it's called the swap and shop.
Drop and shop.
Drop and shop. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, be sorry. Yes.
And I know that seems like that's going to really be an awesome thing. And laundry facility, somewhere where I can, will be able to utilize and do my laundry without having to, sometimes without having to worry about go deal with the issues of going to a laundromat and pack and then have to wait. So I know that's going to really be awesome as well. I don't really know verbatim every program is going to offer, but I know I'm going to be there utilizing it.
Okay, well, I can go through a few if you want. So the drop and shop, the idea is I would equate it to a free thrift store, but so it's donated items, clothing, shoes, purses, belts, jewelry, ties. Underclothes would only be like really nice, good shaped bras. The rest of the underclothes are like, no, exactly, because that's just nasty. I feel you on that. So the idea is, why should you go out and spend money that you really need to be using towards or would really benefit more from being able to use that money towards maybe getting a debt paid off or whatever it is that you need to do. But you've got to go spend that money buying somebody else's used clothes. To me, it's like, let's just, if you need them, come get them. And, so anybody can donate their used items. And I have a feeling once we get our space, depending on how much space we're able to get, it's going to grow way beyond clothes, and it will include some of those furnishings and things. I have a feeling our drop and shop is going to go way beyond clothes. It started with me packing up some of my daughter's used clothes and that they wanted to donate. And I was thinking, so which nonprofit should I donate this? What thrift store should I donate this to? And it just kind of like hit me. Well, duh, Teresa, you're a 501c3. Exactly. Why are you donating it to somebody else? Your clients could use this. And that's kind of how Drop and Shop was born. It was just, and I don't know why I said drop and shop. I don't know. They drop things off and then clients can come in and shop, and it just kind of rang and it stuck. So kind of came fun. But the idea is it's going to be like, it's going to have a little section of our space, and it's going to be set up. In my mind, it's going to be set up like a store, a dignified little store, have things displayed nicely and tagged and marked and whatnot. And I want to have little shopping carts and a checkout register, which the only thing we would be recording is the number of items. And that's just for program measurables, so that we can say, we've helped this many families with this many items. Kind of a thing from a funding support process perspective. Plus, it makes it feel more like a store if you have to check out. Nice things. Yes. So that's the idea behind the drop and shop. So that would be something that you might use.
Definitely have some things to do as well. Yeah.
I think about half of the items that have been donated have been from clients cleaning out their closet, because surprisingly, and this was not one of my goals by any means, but surprisingly, we've had clients who have lost a lot of weight. And I think some of that is coming from the self-esteem, the self-confidence, the stress reduction, all of those kinds of things. And now they feel like eating better. They feel like cooking better meals. They feel like working out. They feel like putting flowers outside their house.
Positive
And
vibe.
yeah, and that just all kinds of naturally leads to getting in better shape. Well, now they have all these clothes that don't fit anymore.
Exactly.
For a good reason.
Exactly. It can be passed on.
Yep. And a lot of them are single moms whose kids are little. And so kids outgrow their stuff.
Yes, they
so
do.
There's a lot of that as well.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Teresa, I was going to say,
you're fine.
My daughter has tons of stuff for my granddaughter. And you know what she does with it? A lot, those Planet, I don't know if you've ever seen it called, you can drop them in this thing. It's called some kind of Planet.
Oh, that's in the parking lot?
And she would just take them there because she stays in Independence and they have them like everywhere. And she takes them up there, but I can start telling her to give me, these are very nice items, very just used. Stuff she's probably worn twice, grew out of, you know how that phase is with kids. I can definitely like get some of those things that she can't use anymore. And because she's always saying, wow, I just don't want to give these things to anybody. I'd rather take them like to a shelter or, to someone can use these for their children. So yes.
Yeah, definitely. And I've had a few people, especially some of my neighbors, say that they really like the idea of being able to donate the clothes to an organization that's going to give the clothes to somebody who needs it as opposed to sell them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So another thing is a food pantry. And I use that term just because that's, I don't know, kind of a common term. But what I have in mind is it's going to be set up like a store. So but it's not just food. I want to have in there non-food items, especially feminine products, because those can get pretty expensive and are definitely necessary. Some basic toiletries, so you can, bath soap, toothpaste, all of that kind of stuff. Some baby items, especially diapers and pull-ups. Those are so expensive. Then also some laundry detergent, toilet paper, some of those basic needs, especially thinking about some of those things that are just basic needs, but food stamps doesn't cover it. But I want it to be set up like a store, because there's another client that I have taken to a food pantry a few times, and I know I'm not the one that needs the food and I'm just the transportation, but it's still kind of a humiliating experience. You pull up, they check you off, you pop the trunk, they put in whatever, you drive off, you get home and you're like, half of this stuff I'm allergic to, or I just, I really don't like that. It's not going to get eaten.
Exactly. Don't know you from that. Don't just pop your trunk or they'll put a number on your car shield window or something. Yes, I've been through. Yes, and I'm telling you, it is kind of in a way kind of degrading, because it's like you said, half of the stuff in there I probably can't even use. An onion, okay, I need some meat to cook with the onion.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah,
and
milk,
it's
stuff like that.
Well, and one time she came home with her milk for the month was like 2 things of half and half, 1 thing of heavy whipping cream, and was something else, but none of it was what I would call milk.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, to the idea of the food pantry, and like I said, I have a lot in what I have in mind is a lot more than just food, but you can go in again, little shopping carts and our checkout registers so that we can kind of, track partially so that we know, we're going through a lot of corn, or we're going through a lot of this brand of sanitary napkins or whatever, so that we can make sure that we have things in supply as much as possible that
Yeah.
our clients want and need. But you get to go in and choose what you want. So, it's not like you automatically get 2 boxes of mac and cheese, 1 thing of peanut butter. Okay, what if you're allergic to peanuts? When you get, you get to choose. And so it's more of a, well, like I said, everything we do is not only it's a hand up, not a handout, but it's also designed to, and with the intention of building self-esteem, self-confidence, empowerment, and introducing everyone to Jesus and helping them grow in their faith as well as a Christian nonprofit. But to me, being able to go in and shop for the food that you and toiletries and basic needs that you need is so much more dignified and empowering and beneficial than pop your trunk. I'm going to put in there whatever I want to give you.
Yes. So. Yes. I've seen it. I've took people through it myself. Could you take me to get something? And I've been a ride for people, and I've seen it, and I was like, this is horrible. I understand that, people need, but you gotta, my thoughts were always, you gotta treat a person better than this. Give a person some humility, It was just all the way it was done that I just didn't like. It just didn't sit right. Never sit right.
Well, my intention is not to do it that way. Yeah. Now, I think you had made a comment a couple of times when we first started doing some grocery assistance. And one of the first questions I asked you, do you remember what that was? I'm putting you on the spot here. It's okay. One of my first questions that I asked you was, what store do you like to go to?
Yes, you did ask me what store I like to go to. Yeah. And something else. Okay.
So I've heard some comments from, and I don't remember whether it was from you or others or both, because I've heard it more than once, that it was like, wow, that was really nice that you asked me what store I wanted to go to.
Yes, because for starters, let me be clear that I've never even encountered any agency that will actually assist you with groceries outside of, like you're saying, pop the trunk. I'll throw a couple of cantaloupe, maybe a orange in there, maybe a half a gallon of milk that's probably about to expire in 2 days. I've never experienced any agency that assists with groceries, assists with the gift card for the groceries. I've never, and then yet alone ask, where do you shop? What's convenient for you? So
it's not just what's convenient for you, but like, let's say you have a gluten allergy. Well, certain stores, and I say this just thinking about my older daughter who does have a really gluten sensitive, we're going to tend to go to Hy-Vee, we're going to go to Target, we're going to go to Sprouts because they have a good selection of gluten-free items. And there are different brands, and some she likes better than others. Right. And those stores tend to have the brands that she likes and a good variety of the gluten-free things where, I do shop at Walmart. Yes, I do shop at Price Chopper, partially because they're close, but their selection is not nearly what some of the other is. And, if you have some particular dietary constraints, I don't know, or, certain kinds of foods that you eat, maybe you prefer, your favorite thing to do is to go to a grocery store that specializes in Asian food or specializes in, Spanish kind of, types of grocery items and whatnot. I don't know that. And I want you to have the food that is going to agree with you, for one, because I have food allergies too. So I'm very sensitive to that, but also that you're going to enjoy eating and that you're going to want to eat and be able to eat healthy. So now I do hate the fact that you're paying full price and part of that gift card is going towards taxes. That's part of, being able to do the food pantry with the donated stuff is going to help out with and make the money go a little farther. I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do as far as anything frozen or fresh. That's going to have to be a whole nother logistical challenge. But anyway, that's one of the things. Another is, which probably won't impact you quite as much as like backpacks and school supplies, since your kiddos are out of school and they're grown and on their own. but we do have several families that have little kids that getting a good backpack. And I've heard from some other organizations, they've said, they're like, well, what do you mean it costs you $20 to $25 to do this? It costs us $1.25. Well, some of the other moms that I've talked to, well, it's one of those little bitty rinky dink breaks in a week and, a half a dozen very generic supplies. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a good sturdy 17-inch full-size backpack that's going to last, and everything that's on their school supply list, not, one pencil, two pens, an eraser, a spiral notebook, you're done, kind of a thing. So yeah, when I say school supplies, I have a very different thing in mind, apparently, than what a lot of them do.
That's right. Exactly.
So vehicle assistance, hopefully no, actually we have some more vehicle work yet to come on your car. Those are some of the biggies from the ongoing support piece. But there's also the opportunity to have in-person workshops or in-person, for lack of a better term, support opportunities where, we could just get together and socialize, have fun. Maybe Mother's Day is coming up, and so we go make craft projects instead of buying stuff at the store, or, some of those kinds of opportunities, just to be around other people that are trying to do the same thing you are and support each other, encourage each other. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's always welcoming support. It's always welcoming, being around other people that feel like that, been there, or feel like they don't, it's just good to have someone you can talk to and know just, hey, everything's going to be positive, everything's going to be better, And Money Talks, they walk it and they talk it. Money Talks, yes, they do. That's what goes through my head when I hear that Money Talks, money walk and they talk. There's great Christian people there. I love this organization. I've even had people ask me, is this nonprofit open to men? Or I've had those questions. So I was told them I would ask, because I had a few.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, all right, because people that ask people, and I would love to, just see where they can help me, or if I can. I was like, well, hey, I would definitely ask. I do not know.
Oh yeah. We tend to have more women who are comfortable asking for assistance than men. So we do tend to have more female clients, and I hate the term client. I just haven't come up with anything better. So if you got any ideas, let me know.
Okay.
But yeah,
ask what I really don't know, but I'm telling you, I'm just.
Oh yeah.
I was pointed in that direction, and if I could get 10 witnesses to tell that, they would tell you, yeah, she talks about this program all the time.
Oh, thank you.
They are awesome.
I've also had some couples, because money tends to be a source of conflict and fights in many marriages. So learning how to get on the same page and how to use the financial tools, especially the budget being the primary one, to help them get on and stay on the same page and be a communication tool instead of being a source of fights and problems. So, and sometimes it empowers one of the people to say, I'm done, we're getting a divorce. So unfortunately, once in a while that happens, but if that's the way it needs to go, then I guess that's the way it needs to go. But it was kind of that particular one was kind of a situation of, she was empowered and validated to be able to say, okay, I'll give you one more chance. And it's like, no, I'm done. But she was finally empowered to say, enough's enough.
Exactly.
And so that wasn't my intention, but that's what ended up happening in one situation.
I'm just here, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, there was problems before I talked to him. So
right. Like, hey.
But I still feel bad.
But it's awesome that the program empowered her to be what she needs to be, so she can have the strength to move forward. And that's the end result that we all want.
Yep. So one thing that you and I don't know that we've talked about too awfully much, because I obviously can't start it until we get our own space. For lack of a better term, is what I'm calling the incentive store. It is kind of like the drop and shop, only it's new stuff. And that's the basic difference. And I tend to explain it to folks kind of like if you were to go to Chuck E. Cheese or to, any of those game type things. You buy tokens, you play skee ball, you get the tickets. There you go.
Yeah.
You take the tickets up to the counter and you buy stuff.
Yes.
And most of that stuff is not stuff that lasts very long, but that's not the point. But the same basic concept is that for anything and everything that you're doing towards working towards becoming financially stable. So you've participated in financial coaching, you created your budget, you got your bills paid on time, you put money in savings, you came in under budget on something, you volunteered to help out with something that we were doing, or you're promoting it. Got to include that in there. Participated in, some of the support things that were going on, and just anything and everything that you're doing that's moving you towards financial stability. And again, I'm not keeping that just strictly to just like the coaching, not strictly to just budgets, bank accounts, credit report, kind of things. I want to make it broader than that, but that will earn you money talk money or credits or whatever that ends up being called. And the idea is that the incentive store is like taking your tickets at Chuck E. Cheese up and buying what you want. But this is new stuff. This is, bedding, towels, microwave, dishes. It's a vacuum. It's, whatever we can get our hands on and fill it with.
Useful.
But it will also be based on what clients like you tell us, because that'll be a conversation before we start, when we get our space, and before we start stocking it would be, okay, what kind of brand new things would be something you'd be interested in? Because I don't want to fill it with a bunch of bedding when everybody, what they really want is toaster and microwave, or, or vice versa, because then that's not helpful. And I had, a while back, I had a single mom. She had come to our house. We were getting our roof replaced, and so the connection had something to do with that. But she had previously been a single mom, and one of the things that she was explaining to me was the difference in your self-esteem in bringing home something new for your family versus something used, as well as the impact to her self-esteem and her self-confidence. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps, knowing that she has worked for and earned what she's bringing home for her family. And it's not just a handout, like somebody's taking pity on her and just giving it to her. She actually earned it, and what that did to her self-esteem and her self-confidence. And she's like, even if it's volunteer hours, it doesn't have to be cash. I did something to earn this, and it's new, not used. And that's kind of where I'm like, okay, that's the piece that I was missing, is, that. And one thing I like about the idea of the incentive store is not only is it, allows you to get some reward for and encouragement and incentives for working towards financial stability, because it is a long road to get there. And so we want to be encouraging and supporting along the way how we can, but it also becomes a real life budgeting lesson. So, it's like, here are the things that are available in this store, and here's how many credits I have to spend. How do I want to spend them?
Yes, that is amazing.
And then for some folks, and this makes me very sad, but some of the high schools in that I've done some of the financial literacy workshops in, I've seen a real concerning trend of lack of work ethic, in whether or not they even show up for class. Do they pay attention? Are they doing their work? Are they getting things turned in? And it's like, if this is the way they are in the workforce, they're not going to be able to hold down the job. And so it kind of also ties into that too, as well as our work readiness pieces.
Mhm.
to if you don't work, you don't get. So, if you
Mhm.
don't want to participate, then you don't earn any credits because you weren't there. You didn't do anything.
Right.
And so therefore, when you want to go to the incentive store, instead of having this much money to spend, you have this much money to spend because you chose
Right.
not to work and
That's
work towards financial stability. And so it reflects that. And so hopefully they can kind of get that through their head
yeah,
that the harder I work, the more I get.
that's right.
And
Absolutely.
so that's something I don't know that you and I had talked too much about, was that incentive store that
That
we
is
also want to do.
we hadn't, but I'm so glad you shared it with me. I would love. I'm definitely want to participate in that as well. I would love to do that. Love to do that. You know what? That sounds real nice. Real nice.
Well, awesome. Is there anything else that you need or would be helpful, or that would be like, man, if I could have somebody help me with XYZ, that would be great, that you would like for us to add to our list of things to consider? Because there is a list of
Right.
requests of requested things.
Because when I think about everything that you guys do and everything you've done for me, I cannot think of anything that you have don't already. Even if I have not utilized it, you have everything. Like I said, I was just thinking before we had this interview, and I was like, they have a term that they use now, the younger crowd, and it's the everything. I don't know if you heard it, but I can use it as an example. Like, say, like if they like a sweater, that sweater is everything. That sweater is just it. It's when I think of Money Talks, when I think of you, Miss Teresa, I just see everything, and that is honest. That's my honest words. I don't mean to cry,
Oh,
but that helped me so much. It's when I say my prayers at night. Thank God for you. Thank God for your what you.
thank you, Jennifer.
I do. I do. If you not have met Miss Teresa McGarry, you have to get to know her. She's more than this program. She is a wonderful person. She's compassionate. She cares, and God couldn't choose a better person for this. And I mean that.
I wish I
Thank,
was there to give you a hug.
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
It's just,
whenever we see each other, there's probably at least 3 hugs before we leave.
but I just want to say that. I just want to say that it's like it's not a day that goes by that I don't thank God for you. I don't thank God for what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful thing in life, period. And God is going to bless you for it. He's blessing you for it because you're just an awesome person. It's awesome. And I want to do any and everything I can now and in the future. What do to spread the word, to let people know that there is people out there that care and will help you and won't judge you and won't, put you in a box and won't, keep you with some, you know, dignity. That's why I said money talks is everything.
Wow, thank you.
You know.
I didn't mean to make you cry.
Okay, I needed to say it. I needed to say
I
that.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Well, we were planning on and kind of hoping to have your daughter join us today, although grandbaby's having some health issues that she needed to focus on, rightfully so. Um, but is there anything, just real quick before we run out of time here, that your daughter Asia might say that through us helping you has helped her as well, even though she's not a client of ours? I have a
She would, because she feel the exact same way. Like just little things that have happened, little things that you assisted me with. She's like, well, that lady's an angel. She is just awesome, and we just. She's like, Miss Teresa helped me with this. The money talks was like, I love her. And I'm like, I do too. I do too. We do. Because we talk just about every other day, every day. So, And Mr. Teresa, you are in our conversation, just like my sister. Like I told you, it's like I told we sometimes when we just talking, you talk to Miss Teresa today? No, you talk to her today. You know, that's just how much you come up. So yeah, she feels the exact same way. She is so thankful as well. She really is.
And
She
it
was
probably helps her out financially that she doesn't have
just
to help
yeah,
you with rent or
yeah,
some of that kind of stuff too.
yes, because it weighed heavy on her a lot, and bless her heart. You know, she has a daughter, and trying to make her way. She's out here working. She's kind of trying to keep her head above water like everybody else. So it's very hard on her a lot of times for me to, go to her and ask her for things, and she would, do the best she can by them. But Money Talks has been a blessing to her as well. I'm telling you, I remember telling her one time on, I think a car payment that Money Talks applied paid for me, and she was like, "Oh my God, Mom," because I was so wondering where I was gonna get this extra money, to give to you. So I'm telling you, it's just like she feels the exact same way. I'm sorry she couldn't be here, but she feels the
Oh, me
exact same.
too.
She loves this program. She does. I told her I'd give Miss Teresa a kidney if she needed one. I really would. I told her, I said, I'd give her a kidney if I could, if she needed it, I would, and I mean that. I do.
Well, I am so glad I have met you and that you've come into my life. You have been such a blessing, and we are sisters in Christ.
Thank you.
And
Yes, we are.
yes. And I was looking forward to meeting Asia today too, but we understand the health of her daughter comes first.
Yes, off the record, we're definitely gonna have to Zoom one time because Asia's a really sweet young lady.
She sounds like it. Definitely loves her mama.
Yes, she does. Thank you.
And one of the other things that I really love is that when something really exciting and good happens, I love it when you call me or text me and go, "You're one of the first people I wanted to tell." That is just, that's just awesome. That's the relationship I want.
And that's the way I feel about you. I'm like, I have to tell Mr. Reese. I mean, either good or bad. I feel like I have to reach out to you because you're more than just this program. You're like a friend. Even if this program didn't exist, you would still and always would be my friend. Always.
Thank you. And I do, while I don't like hearing bad stuff, because I don't like I don't like the thing that's happened. I do really appreciate you reaching out and telling me when something has happened. And because then I can reach out to my partners, my collaborations, because I do have a lot of businesses that I partner and collaborate with and other resources that I have connections with that, maybe I can take some of the strain off of you, and together we can get it solved and it doesn't become a big problem if I know about it. And I try, if I haven't heard from you for a while, and sometimes I get behind and I'm not, as good at it as I would like, but I try if I haven't heard from you in a while, just to reach out and go, "Hey, how's everything going? Is everything going okay?" Because sometimes stuff happens, and when you're in the midst of stuff happening, the first thing on your mind is not to reach out and say, "Hey, I need such and such." It's like, unless somebody comes in and says, "It looks like you need this, would that be helpful?"
Right.
You don't have the capacity to think about it because there's just all this stuff going on. Yeah.
And you have been
so
you have been that person. That's why I'm like, oh, this is an angel. God, what have I done to? I ask myself I have some awesome people in my life, and you definitely are one of them. And again, I can't thank you enough.
Well, I thank you, and I am so glad you are in my life, and I appreciate you taking the time out of the day to do this interview. And I'm glad to hear that once you're financially up on your feet and all stable, that you're not just going to go by and never see me again. I appreciate that.
I'm going to harass this program. No, just joking.
I would miss you too much.
Yes, I'm like, that's my friend regardless. Even if I wonder about tomorrow, I'm still going to be involved with Money Talks, whatever way I can, this is an awesome program. These people are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And it's like I said, not just a hand, it's not a handout, it's a help up. And it truly stands. It really does. It really does.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to let you go.
All right.
And I thank you again so much for taking the time to do this interview for me and sharing your experiences with Money Talk. I look forward to talking to you later and meeting your daughter, Asia. And I hope and pray that her daughter, your
Yeah,
granddaughter, is healthy and they get
yes.
this taken care of. So,
All righty. Thank you so
all
much.
right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Money Talk Minute, where you have an opportunity to learn more about Money Talk Financial Foundations as a nonprofit organization. Money Talk started as a result of me doing financial counseling, which I went through the Dave Ramsey counselor training in June of 2009. And one of the individuals attending one of the Financial Peace University series that I was leading wanted to start a prison ministry. And the prison ministry had 4 different segments to it. FPU was one of those. And he and I went and met with the reentry coordinators at one of the correctional facilities. And they weren't really interested in what he was proposing because it was stuff that was already being done. There wasn't really any value add there. But then they looked at me. And what they told me was that the majority of the inmates, I think they even said like 99% of them, have not graduated high school, have never held a job, never had a bank account, and the majority of them struggle to read and write. And that the financial literacy programs that are currently available were too advanced for them. And their volunteers were taking bits and pieces of different programs and trying to simplify them to get them down to the very basics, down to the foundational level, and teach the inmates some basic financial skills that will help them, hopefully, financially once they are out in the community. And after that happened, I started having dreams, visions, whatever you want to call it. And it took a couple of weeks before I realized God was talking to me. And when I finally said, yes, Lord, I'm here, I'm listening, then I started getting every night more and more. This is the nonprofit you're going to start, and this is what it's going to do. And it very quickly, the person that I was at the time, with my lack of self-esteem and my lack of self-confidence, well, let's just say that the Lord was definitely going to qualify the called, because he was not calling the qualified at that time. I was not qualified at that time at all. I have definitely grown into, or growing into, the person that God wants to lead this nonprofit. And I did it in several different correctional facilities, including Topeka Correctional for quite some time, at the Juvenile Detention Center out in Johnson County. That was actually my very first one, and it was over Christmas break. They needed something for their residents to do. So that was very, very interesting. And also up at Fort Leavenworth in the JRCF, the Joint Regional Correctional Facility, on the military base. And that was kind of eye-opening. But it was great because I loved, it was the men's facility. The sentence was 10 years or less for the men who were there. And they were always so kind and polite and respectful to me. And I think I probably learned as much from them as they did from me, in that I've never had a bankruptcy and I've never had some of those other things. And a couple of things that they said really kind of stuck to me. And I think it was God telling me that these are some things that you really need to focus on. And it came from these gentlemen. One was, he had pointed out how when I was explaining and teaching things to them, that they really appreciated how I simplified it without making them feel dumb or talked down to. And it's just something that's really stuck with me in making sure that when I'm explaining things, to try and make sure that I don't lose that aspect. The other thing was one of the gentlemen, he at the time I was printing out actual workbooks that had all the information in it, and everybody got the same workbook regardless if it was a 2-hour class or a 30-minute class. That way they all had the same information. And this gentleman was going back to his pod, and whatever we had learned in class that night, he was teaching everybody else in that pod what we had learned and going through the workbook with them, which was just kind of gave me chills. It was awesome. And you never know the ripple effect of when you're helping somebody and how they pass that on and how that person passes it on. You never know the full impact that you're having. And that was one thing that God really kind of showed me with that when the gentleman shared that with me, that he had been doing that every single night that I was out there. He was sharing that information and teaching the other inmates that were in his particular pod, I believe is what it was called. The other thing was, and that's part of what got me out of the correctional facilities and fully into the community, was when he came up with this stack of books and he goes, "This is great information," as he's tapping the top of the stack. And as soon as I get out, I'm going to reread every one of them. It was like, wow, smack against the face there. I'm teaching this to folks who most of it they really can't use. I mean, some of the budgeting stuff they can use if they have money that they're getting from family, or maybe they are on some kind of work release and they have some funding, some money coming in, that they can hopefully learn to manage it and not just blow it all at the commissary or the online catalog or whatever because they're bored. And so that way, hopefully, when they get out, they will have more than just a brown paper bag with a few items in it. They'll actually have, some money that they could get an apartment, rent a hotel, do something, and not just be out there with nothing and no support and find themselves right back in jail again. So when I got into the community, I've done a lot of financial literacy workshops in middle school, high school, college. I've done workshops within other nonprofit organizations. We've done a few for the community, not very many. And I'm not sure if that's my marketing promotion, lack of having a predetermined space, or cost, or the night, or the topic, or there's just too many variables. I don't know. We have done a Moneytalk Academy, which is a 6-week series with a specific focus. Our pilot on that was October 2019. And while we had 3 people that were there the entire time, that was a good number for the pilot, and it was very well received. Everyone enjoyed it. And we are planning on doing several more with different focuses, such as couples learning how to use financial tools to work towards financial stability, to work towards getting on and staying on the same page as a couple, to home ownership for first-time home buyers, to senior living, whether somebody is a senior or maybe they are caring for their parent or a loved one who is at that age where they're using Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, so that they can understand how it works and be able to better and more confidently help that family or loved one. I hope you enjoyed this Money Talk Minute and were able to learn a little bit about Moneytalk Financial Foundations as a nonprofit organization, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.